Hey guys, welcome to another Zebra tutorial. First off, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out ADSRsounds.com for a lot of sounds and a lot of tutorials. This week I want to talk about enhancing your drop sounds or your heavy sections of your song with little parts of melodies and arpeggiators. And this is something I do quite a lot, and I can show you what I mean with a song that I'm working on right now. For example, I have a section here. Maybe that's not a good example, but this section is, I have all these little very short audio files here, and together they make sort of a melody. And you can hear that in the context of the sort of drop, it's doing quite a lot, and it allows the listener to focus on a certain line inside the music. So now you're not hearing just bass and random noises, but it actually has a lot more structure by just adding a few of those more melodic sounds. So in context. So it's still quite soft in the mix, but that's what it does. It's providing sort of a line that makes it easy to follow. So I've got another example right here. This section without the melodic line, it sounds like this. And then that's all fine, but when I start adding a little bit of melody in there, it makes it a lot easier to follow, and this melody might not be the best for right now, and I still have to tweak it, but that's basically the idea when you want to build these sort of sections. And I can enhance this by using a note that is the first on the bar, and then I'll maybe do that same one here, and I can transpose these by an octave. Maybe that's a little bit too much. So this still needs some work, obviously, but this is the idea, and it's very useful, and it makes it a lot easier for all the people that are listening to your music, especially when you have more stuff going on. Make sure that you pick one element out of the song that you think is the most important, that's gonna provide the line and the that just it's a little bit complicated to explain, but pick one element that you want to be the main focus, and that is what you want the people to hear, and all the other stuff is just the support of the track. So with this section of the drop, for example, you can hear sort of a line in there, and in this case it's made by a few different sounds, but I can play you those. Let's see if I take just the more melodic parts. That is the main melody. So we have this one, and this one also, and then we have the sort of answer to that phrase here. So together it's. So this is just this is not very much, and all the other tracks, there's a lot more stuff going on here, although not that much, but all the other stuff is not that important because it's just providing the drums and the low end, but it's not the thing that people are gonna focus on. So make sure that you do that while building drops, and you'll start to recognize it in different songs. And then enough of this, I'll quickly show you this sound. I just wanted to share that idea, but I'm also gonna show you a zebra sound, and I'll show you this one. And it's fairly easy, so we're gonna go over it pretty quick. But we use a cross modulation filter and in the first lane, and we turn the click amount up, so that's making the when the resonance is set very high, then the click is gonna provide the initial start, and it's gonna trigger the feedback of the filter. So now we don't need an oscillator to run through this filter, it can operate all by itself. So if I mute all these lanes, and I take a cross modulation filter here, and I say like this, now there's not an oscillator or an FM oscillator or anything in this lane, so it's just a filter, but I can make sound with that when I crank the resonance very high and the cutoff very low, and I give it a click, and then I play my keyboard. And now it's not working. So there's just the feedback of the cross modulation filter. Anyways, so we have that one in the first lane. Cutoff is set to 38, resonance is to 90. Key follow is all the way up because I want to be able to play in tune with my MIDI keyboard. So then you need to drag this one to 100. The first filter is L pass, and the second filter is a band pass. The mode is set to parallel, and I choose the folded type, and this is a filter type that folds the waveform. It's sort of the most extreme, choice of these choices. The offset is set to minus 34.5, and it's modulated by MSEG1 with an amount of 48, and LFO2 is not used here. This MSEG is not used. So MSEG1 looks like this. It's well, quite. It's not really much happening there. Just make your own, and you'll be able to come up with some cooler ideas. The click is not that important how loud it is, as long as it's there. And then the filter FM is receiving the sidechain from oscillator 1. Oscillator 1 is set up 1 octave, and I think I used 2 scrambler effects, both to the maximum value, and I set the reset to on. So that sounds like this. And the distortion is because of the FM right here. And I like that sound. It's a little bit detuned and it's pretty cool. The in the global pages I've set it to arpeggiator, so then you can make your melody here, and you can do whatever you want here. Just make a nice melody. And then besides that, I used one FM oscillator, which is this one. It's set to the default. It's just providing a sine wave, I think. Yep. and it's going through a shaper which is set to wedge, and depth is at 19 and the edge is at 75. It doesn't really matter, experiment with that. And then it's going through the comb filter. My most favorite filter, I think. The feedback is set to 50. It's set to different comb the mode, and the tone is set to 69, flavor to 12, and noise is a little bit up, and the damping is at 22.5, and don't forget the distortion at 11. You can also leave the noise off, it doesn't really matter. It's just giving that click at the very beginning. So all together. Very simple sound, but it can be quite useful because I normally use stuff like this to make an arpeggiator such as this one. And then I'll, in most cases, bounce it to audio, and then I make these little bleeps and sort of make a line, a melody line that goes straight through the drop section to give a more consistent drop like I talked about. So now it's still like this. But I think I'm gonna bounce this down and then edit some more, and yeah, like that. That's how it works, at least with my music, and I think it can be useful for you too if you've never used it. So thanks for watching, and see you next week.